And I remember making this face. I couldn't hide it. I couldn't hide that face. I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna take advice. Always remember to date to date the crazy ones and keep those ones in your life. Well, sir, great advice. I just remember that was just so ridiculous. And we're off. We're good. So, welcome. I am your very, very sore host, Benjamin the Big Nose himself. I'm very sore because I went tubing yesterday. Got pulled behind a boat. What could go wrong? Well, I need to tell you that 90% of my body is bruised. So it was after a hard workout. Then I went tubing. Came home. Obviously, I'm a little sun-kissed as well. I'm feeling it. I'm getting old, man. I get beat up, and I think it's safe to say that lake won. That lake definitely won. It was choppy as hell, and I'm just bouncing all 190 pounds of myself onto a tube. And let's just say I got some bruises in some areas that I never thought would be able to be bruised. I know, TMI. But so I was planning on doing a podcast about something, a subject that I really I've been listening a lot. I've been opening up my ears a little bit more instead of just kind of waiting for my turn to talk. Ironically, here I am talking about it. So, I need advice. I do. Like we all need advice. I need advice. You need advice. But can you all imagine a world, if you can, really, really think about this just for a second. Could you imagine if you followed just 90%? Let's just say let's go even lower. Let's go 50%. Could you all imagine if you actually took your own advice? Do you know what I'm saying? So many people giving their advice, their 2 cents on everything you do in your lives. And I got to tell you, it's like I got to tell you that shit's getting old. Giving people advice. I have made a pact last year. I remember writing about it, and it was probably a year prior. I read 12 Rules for Life, which is Jordan Peterson's book, which is great. But I read it, and I said I would live by one of the rules, or something similar to it. But treat yourself as if you were somebody you cared for. So what that means is you take care of your daughter, your son, your mom, aunt, uncle, significant other, girlfriend, whatever, person you're married to. You would take care of them very well, or at least to the best of your ability. Now imagine if you took care of yourself the same as you took care of them. Or when you gave somebody advice, that you would actually take your own advice. So it requires a little bit of that self-realization. You got to really understand who you are when you give somebody advice. So that's why I stopped giving advice. I got to be honest. I just am done. I can give my 2 cents. I could say what I think you should do, but I am so done with people giving advice because most of the time it's just shitty advice, or they're not even listening to it. So I go by this, something like, take care of yourself, but you also treat yourself, like I said, treat yourself like you're somebody who you care for in your everyday life. If you did that, taking advice, you could kind of differentiate the difference between good advice and bad advice. But there's also a huge thing that when people take advice, they're comparing themselves to that person, or they're comparing themselves to another person in another person's situation, if some of us would start thinking in a more individualized way, like really think, with your own mind, like if you can, really think about your own mind. And I know it sounds easy, but so many people struggle to do this. It's like, just for once, try it for 3 months, watch what happens, because it really did help me. I compare myself to no one else but what I did the day before. Do you know what I mean? Like, I compare myself to who I was yesterday, and am I making progress? If you need to gauge that progress, you can write it down. You can keep note memos like I do, and also journaling. But compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That's it. Don't compare yourself to what anybody else did, because that's a big problem we're having right now. Is so many people are comparing themselves. It's leading to people being depressed in these droves. This social media depression is like crazy on the rise, because you're seeing all these little snippets of people's lives. You're seeing 2% of their lives, or sometimes 10% of their lives, and you're comparing yourself to them, or you're comparing yourself to everyone else except for yourself, that who you were the day before. So it's like, stop comparing yourself to everyone else, and then that way you can at least you at least can understand why some people giving you advice all the time is not necessarily the best thing. So I have some advice stories, and I tried to really think of 3 really different examples. And I just, so I'll give you one where it was a relationship, one with my career, and then one that was just more tempting. It was more of an offer or advice, or somebody thought I should do something, and I kind of wasn't quite there yet. But so I remember when I think I was 18, 19 at the time, my buddy's dad got out of jail. So right off the bat, great guy to take advice from as far as doing, I think he was doing like 10 years or 15 years. It was something for a very violent crime, and, anyway. So I remember him asking me, he liked me a lot. Like, this guy just got out of prison. He's a big guy. He had this gravelly voice because he smoked, I remember, Newport 100s. I mean, he smoked them. I mean, he just smoked all the time. He always had a cigarette in his mouth. And he was like, he talked a lot like this, like a lot, that gravel voice, So he would call me Benny. He never called me Ben or Benjamin. He used to be a Benny. So I was having a tough time. I remember I just broke up with my girlfriend, and he waves me over, and he's like, "Hey, man, can I give you some advice? Can I give you some advice?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, give me some advice." And I remember I was always so expressive with my face, and he's like, "You're a wise ass. You gotta watch it with that mouth, because you would get a, real quick." Like, he always was like threatening me with violence, but he liked me too. And he looked at me and he goes, "I'll give you the easiest piece of advice with women." And he goes, "Benny, always, if you got a crazy one, hang on to her. Those ones are special. The crazy ones, very special." And I remember making this face. I couldn't hide it. I couldn't hide that face. I just was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take advice." Always remember to date the date the crazy ones and keep those ones in your life. Well, sir, great advice. I just remember that was just so ridiculous. And I remember my face, and he said he was going to smack my face off after that. He was just like, "I'm going to whack." He's like, I'm giving you good advice here." That's a terrible advice to give. Like, hey, man, date the crazy ones that do the awful thing, slash your tires, show up at your work unannounced, get super jealous, spiteful, vengeful. Keep those ones. What a great piece of advice that this guy's given me. So obviously I did not, I should say that I did not take his advice. And if you are going to date somebody, I don't care, what situation, do not just hang on to the crazy ones. So yeah, let those ones go, dude. Or let, girls, let those ones go. Trust me, just kind of, you'll find your balance eventually. But see, that was advice. Ignore that advice. Ignore that advice. But definitely ignore that advice. So I remember in my, I had just started training, and I was doing really well. I was like, I'm still doing really well, but I just started my career, and I was really, I wouldn't say I was very book smart, because I'm really not, but I remember certain things, and I do know what I'm doing, and I took great pride in that. I remember in my career, some guy, when we had a meeting, he brought me in the office, and he said, "Hey, listen to me. I got to give you some advice. You got to dumb this down. You got to dumb yourself down." And I was shocked. I remember being like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, here's how I took it. You're doing too well. You're too knowledgeable. You're making everybody, or at least some people, look bad. So I had to adjust what I was doing. I had to adjust and dumb myself down for everyone else. Who do you think that would help? That would help nobody. It doesn't even help the other people, because now they're not growing. They're not rising to their occasion or their potential. Why would you tell somebody to dumb it down? That's the dumbest shit ever. If you have people performing well in your office, well in their career, well in any sort of capacity, telling them to dumb it down or slow it down is always insecurity. It's stemming from insecurity. Don't cater to that. Like, why would you tell somebody to do that? And I remember I said I wasn't going to. I said they need to rise to the occasion. In that case, I didn't take the advice. And I didn't take the advice from the crazy ones. I didn't take that either. But in my career sense, what are you, nuts? I'm not going to dumb it down. And it would have done it would have done everybody a disservice. So I brought everybody up. It's so important. If I would have agreed to dumb it down, I would have been sabotaging my own career, So yeah, I remember that, and kind of running from that type of advice. Now, the last one is going to be something that is extremely tempting, where you're at like 50-50. So I a little bit ago, as most of you know, I bought I've been working for this company, and I decided that I wanted to become an owner, and now I'm the guy. I'm the El Capitan. And it doesn't feel like that. I still feel like a beginner every day, but I own Sculpt Fitness, and I'm very, very proud of it. I'm very proud of my team. I'm very proud of our staff. I'm proud of our clients. We have like the best clients. It's amazing. I can't say it enough. And I know how crazy that sounds, but I really do enjoy everything. But there was a time where I was getting offers. I was getting offers all the time from people who wanted me to run their facilities or to invest in me. And I had a dinner. I had these people who asked me to go out to dinner, and I went, and I was like having a really good time, having drinks and having wings, and it's great. And then they look at each other. It's like, you gonna tell them? And the other guys, you gonna tell them? And it's like, what? So I had an opportunity of, and this happened actually 2 other times, but this was the most memorable time because it was the most tempting I'd had, and they both were very adamant in investing in me, and they, propped me, hey, we'll give you, $170,000 to go start a fitness facility of your own. And at the time, I wasn't an owner of my current company, and that's very tempting, obviously, somebody willing to, put up that sort of money for you, it's extremely tempting. So I had to take advice from my mentors, from people that I knew, to kind of give a definitive answer that kind of sprung it on me. And because I knew what good advice was, or because I knew myself and I've been more self-aware, I kind of knew what would be a better situation for me. I obviously didn't want to walk away from this company that I've helped grown and wanted to be, and I love my clients, but I also didn't want to move away from this current company that I own right now, Skilled Fitness, and just go on and just kind of create something else and leave everything that I worked so hard for behind, or we worked so hard for behind, and some of the clients and some of the people. And I just went home and I went over some things in my head, and I called a couple of my really close mentors that I had that give me advice where there's no ego involved. It often is kind of like 50-50. So it's like you kind of have to go towards what's, and I'll talk about this, I'll get into it. So I was talking with them, and then after just kind of thinking to myself, I said, no, I appreciate the opportunity, but I love what I have here. I gotta be honest, not sounding mushy or kissing anybody's ass, because I obviously own this, really small but great team and company. I said no, and I really meant it. And I was really excited to be a part of, owning my own place. But even though it was going to be essentially I had investors, in me right off the bat, I still knew that it wasn't a good opportunity because I might not have forgiven myself. I love what we have here, and I love building on that. And people have been so awesome, and it's like, why wouldn't I? So that was a huge one. And then really quick side thing, and obviously, like I said, I have this great company now, and I don't regret a thing, and I enjoy it. But there's another one too that you get a lot. You get a lot of people giving you advice, and I mean this solely in this way, is like a financial advice. Like I have, if you guys don't, you definitely want to talk to somebody about retirement plans, financial advising, being able to save money, those types of things. It's good. It's a good idea to do. It's always really good, especially if you're an idiot like me, like where I don't have a high education level. I don't have, I'm not necessarily smart or even talented. It's just my work ethic is good. So my work ethic got me to realize that this might be the only thing that gets me to the dance, So, but having people to coach you and good mentors for good investments, bad investments, or whatever is a really good idea. And if you could find them, hang on to them. They're very valuable people. But you have a lot of people say, like, why haven't you gotten a house yet? Why haven't you, why haven't you bought a new car? You could buy a new car. You could afford a new car. You could buy this. It's like I was having so many outside influences, people trying to coach me into being more like them or giving me advice on things that they appreciated, but maybe not necessarily me. So if you know yourself, once again, just disregard that type of advice. It's like, I'll spend money with what I want to spend money on. I tell people, like, and this is, well, I guess I'm judging. Yeah, screw you, I'm judging. If you're going to spend, $500 to $700 a month on, going to the bar and drinking and, eating out, which is eating out part I get, but just like you're always at the bar or you're spending upwards of almost $1,000 a month, me spending $500 on a piece of equipment that I love and for my clients and myself shouldn't seem all that crazy. Or me buying me personally, a personal trainer, a career personal trainer, buying mitt work with somebody for $500. Like, people would go, that's a waste. It's like, well, I'm investing in myself. You're just drinking alcohol. Like, it's like nothing, and that's okay. I love drinking too. I mean, there's literally a video of me this weekend taking a shot. That's not the point, though. The whole thing is you can put your money wherever you want to. It's important to know that you know what's important to you. So if you haven't made up your mind about that, that's tough. So I will invest in myself. I will do things for my company and my family. People would, taking my family out, that would be something I would like to do. But just because I haven't gotten a new car or gotten these new shoes or gotten this or, whatever. It's like, you see what you see value in. I can buy and do whatever I want to do, and you could do whatever you want to do. But it's like, I'm not the weird one, because I'm investing in myself and in the people around me and my family and my friends and my team. It's like, that's not crazy. I'm investing in myself. We just, but so it's like, just live how you want to live. Spend whatever you want to spend money on. It's your money. It's do whatever you want to do. It's just like such a simple concept to me. But for me personally, spending so much money going out and drinking and constantly, doing things that aren't really going to make you all that much better. I'm sorry, I'm not in that place in my life right now. So I'm spending money, saving money, investing money. Like, that's where I'm at right now. There'll be a time where I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. And those of you who have a hard work ethic or just work hard, take that advice. Like, that might be the only thing that you can actually take, is that you're just going to work your ass off, and that's it. That's all you have to bring to the dance, and that's all I brought to the dance, and here we are. So, in the end, I guess it comes down to this. Yes, I need advice. You need advice. We all need advice. Dating advice exclusively could be it's a 50-50 shot if it's really going to work for you, in my opinion. Career advice, you really got to watch who you ask. And tempting offers, it's like, you really got to take the advice in your head. You really follow what you need to, if you know that you're treating yourself in which somebody you'd actually take care of. Because are you even in the right frame of mind to actually acknowledge good advice? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what frame of mind are you even in? I mean, sometimes I've looked at previous people that I've talked with, close friends, not close friends, family. There is sometimes where you will talk to somebody and give them good advice, even advice that you would take, but they're looking so blankly and blindly at you because they couldn't recognize their own worth and to take that advice properly. They're not even in the right frame of mind to take that advice. So always know, when you give advice, make sure you're taking your advice. That's all I'm saying. And I'm out. And I'll see you guys next week. Later.
Live Sculpted.